skill, we know that this term soft skill was created by the US Army in late 1960s, and it refers to any skill that doesn't employ the use of machinery. The military realized that the many important activities were included within this category, and in fact, the social skills necessary to lead groups, motivate soldiers, and win wars were encompassed by skills they had not yet catalog or fully studied. But finally, if we come to here to say something about the actual concept of soft skill, I must say the soft skill are a cluster of productive personality traits that characterize one relationship in a social environment. These skills can include the social graces, communication abilities, language skills, personal habits, etc. And also, I must address to say here time management, teamwork, and leadership traits as well. So, in this backdrop, I must say the interest in soft skill have increased over the years. The more research that is conducted, the more people understand the relevance of this concept. The huge amount of fund, companies, and worldwide organizations are investing in the training and development of this field shows this interest. Friend, the European Commission launched the program agenda for new skills and jobs in 2012 in order to train and explain to young adults this new set of skill. If we talk about soft skill, I must talk about the hard skill versus soft skill. So therefore, we can say the hard skill include the technical or administrative competence. Soft skill are commonly used to refer to the emotional side of human beings in opposition to the IQ, what I call the intelligent quotient, competent related to the hard skill. So friend, hard and soft skill are usually defined as a similar concept or complements. This fact demonstrates how these two different types of abilities are strictly related. Ultimately, I must say, is there any relationship between education and also soft skill? We must say that because of their rising importance, the need to teach soft skill has become a major concern for educators across the globe. Because the soft skills are poorly defined, teaching them is more challenging compared to classical skills. For this reason, the first step consists of understanding how to evaluate them so that educators can track students' progress. Finally, I conclude by saying that there is a list of soft skills sought by the employers in college students or university students and new workers in the industry, namely the communication like oral speaking capability, written, presenting, listening, etc., courtesy like manners, maybe business etiquette, maybe gracious, etc., the flexibility, maybe integrity like honesty, ethical aspect, high moral, etc. Interpersonal skill, nice, personable, sense of humor, friendly attitude, the positive attitude, the professionalism, which is very, very also part of the soft skill, what I believe, the responsibility, the accountability, maybe reliability, gets the job done, the resourceful, self-discipline, etc. The teamwork, if we talk about, which is also another aspect of the soft skill, I must say, the cooperative attitude, and also maybe that is supportive and helpful and collaborative attitude, just like here, the collaborative work like maybe UGC, HRDC, and also our Home Science Department, University of Calcutta. And finally, I must say, the work ethic, that means hardworking, willing to work, loyal, etc. With this word, I must, welcome once again our all participants here, those who are concluding today, and also I must welcome, as chairman of this valedictory session, our HRDC director, my friend Dr. Loki Shatpati, as well as our deputy director, that is our Dr. Amrita, and finally, that is our this program, valedictory program. We are waiting for the valuable lecture and valuable lecture by which we'll be able to enrich ourselves to communicate this by taking this knowledge before our students community. He is not only, that is everybody knows by name, that is he is not only, that is our Dr. Jwahar Sircar, the respected Dr. Jwahar Sircar, the IAS. So thank you very much for giving me this opportunity here in this valedictory session. to the organizer, particularly Dr. Chattopadhyay, and also Ghosh as well. Thank you very much.
Purva, before we invite Jwahar Sircar, let me say some words about him because many of the participants they don't know him very well. He was not just an he was a very able officer. He was very successful in various postings as in the commerce, in the Ministry of Culture, and also as the CEO of Prasar Bharati. So he had, during his time, Prasar Bharati attained new height. And perhaps many of you don't know, he is a passionate researcher of the history of science, particularly. He is a very wonderful article on visualization. So I request all the participants to go through it and they will find new insights into it. It is not just conventionalist writings of just like a conventional history by the historians. So because out of his passion he wrote all these things and from where you can find a true scholar. So with these words, let us invite Dr. Sircar. Sir.
Yes, so we formally invite our Dr. Sircar. So please give your validity address. Thank you so much.
Sir, unmute yourself, sir.
Yes, I request Dr. Sircar to unmute yourself.
Sir, you are still muted.
So here I also take the opportunity to say Dr. Chattopadhyay or Dr. Amrita already joined. So after this deliberation, if he like to speak anything this issue,
Sure.
Deputy Director of our center, so you look into the matter, okay?
Sure.
And I may leave due to our assignment university.
I can understand.
If possible, then again I join. If possible, I'll join. But if not possible, so in that case, I may anytime I can leave. In advance, I tell you. Okay.
Sure, sir.
Thank you very much for inviting me. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Dr. Sircar, you're unable to unmute. And Dr. Amrita is listening here. Dr. Amrita.
Welcome, madam. Amrita,
yes,
madam.
hello. Yes, thank you so much.
Yes, Dr. Amrita. So I request you because you have not joined that time. Okay, fine. So Dr. Sircar is unmuted. So after that, I think Dr. Sain will be given the opportunity to speak on this issue. Thank you very much.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Can you see me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Dr. Sircar. Yes, please.
And hopefully you can hear me.
Yes,
sir. We can hear you.
All right.
Okay. It's a pleasure for me to address you on this subject and try to relate my version of what I think would be appropriate as a valedictory speech at the end of this workshop or training. First of all, let me thank Dr. Saha for his kind words, Dr. Shatpati for his kind words, and Dr. Chattopadhyay for inviting me. I try to keep myself busy even as I'm heading towards 70, because if I do not keep myself occupied, the favorite occupation of old retired men, that is fighting with wives, would surface. And my wife is also from Presidency College and she is a topper all through. So she does not flow over with respect and gives it back. Now, having said that, that's also a soft skill, but becomes a hard skill at times. Now, coming to the subject, Dr. Saha has already explained to you the nuances of the differences between hard skills and soft skills. The way I view it is that everyone has to acquire a hard skill. That's the first point. Not necessarily in engineering, science, or technology, but in any particular discipline. everyone has to have a basic knowledge. Otherwise, the person is not considered literate. So we have a basic background in which even a polytech engineer, even someone who has passed out from a skill training course, is considered to possess certain amount of skills. Okay. That particular skill or the bag of knowledge, we would put it in what we call the hard skills category. Let me adjust this a little bit. Just a minute. Okay. Having said that, the question is, how do we and why do we need soft skills? Am I in the frame, Dr. Chattopadhyay?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes, sir. In the frame, because I keep...
Cholasan.
Okay. Now, the question is, why do we require this additional component called soft skills? Let me tell you from my life's experience that soft skills are actually more important than hard skills. Now, this may sound very dramatic, especially to academics, because they have spent their whole life imparting hard skills. And now here comes a bureaucrat and who tells them that no, soft skills are more important than hard skills. You see, what I'm trying to say is that a good product also needs a good packaging. And if we look at our worthiness in terms of what we can get from the world and what we can contribute to the world, the one that stands out the most is communication. I may consider myself a genius. The world does not know about it. I may consider myself highly skilled in metallurgy. The world has no knowledge about it. If I get an interview and I produce my certificates at the interview, if I'm lucky enough to be called, and if they're lucky enough to go through my results, they would understand that I've scored a very high number of marks in my particular subject, whatever be that. But to get into that job, to acquire that vocation, would require more persuasion. And what I mean by more persuasion is that he would require to make those who employ him conscious of the fact that he possesses those skills. In other words, the possession of skills, the possession of knowledge is only the starting point. The communication of the fact that he possesses the knowledge is more important. Otherwise, there are many persons, in fact, most persons in this world cannot go around flaunting their degrees, flaunting their knowledge. Some do, of course, all the time, quite annoyingly, but most people cannot go on flaunting their knowledge. So they would get completely missed out. And there are others who keep boasting about what they know and what they don't know. And within a few moments, people come to know that he is much of an empty drum, or he sounds much more than he possesses. Said that, the purpose of soft skill is to demonstrate the capacity of hard skills. That's one. But in life, soft skills and hard skills don't come in that pair. Let me give you an example from life. One of the most successful CEOs or corporate managers that I have seen in my life was, I have to say was because he died recently, Y.C. Deveshwar, known to us as Yogi Deveshwar. Yogi was chairman of ITC Limited, and he turned it around from a harmful cigarette company. He still sells, his company still sells cigarettes, which is bad, but most of its transaction come from hotels and many other businesses, including paper manufacturing. Yogi was a first or second in engineering, mechanical engineering from IIT Delhi. So one day during a discussion, I asked him, Yogi, when did you taught mechanical engineering? He said, yes. When did you last use mechanical engineering? He said, look, I have worked for almost 35 years. I said, I asked you, when did you last use mechanical engineering? He scratched his head and said, mechanical engineering. I remember my car had stopped 10 years ago. So my driver opened the bonnet and he was checking the engine. That is my last acquaintance with mechanical engineering. Now here, look at the person who has acquired all his skills by topping mechanical engineering in IIT Delhi, one of the top institutions, confessing that he didn't require these skills. Now, having said such a dangerous thing, do I mean that we don't need that hard skills? We don't need hard skills. I would put it this way. That we do. Just hold on. It's light and this thing is causing trouble. Bus. Yeah. Cut that. Take it. Oh, okay. So, oh God. Oh. So I'm back. Okay. I hope you can see me, huh? Am I okay?
Yes, sir. We can see you. We can hear you.
Oh, this is this flexible stand that I have purchased, which
We can understand, sir. We can understand, sir.
Adjustment problems. Now, having said that, the person at the very top hardly ever used his hard skill. Am I saying that you don't require hard skills? Obviously not. Obviously not. What I'm saying is that having gone through the rigor, why do you require it? Having gone through the rigor of obtaining a first-class first degree in a top discipline, he acquired, number one, a rigor. He acquired knowledge. He acquired interrelationship, the causality of relationship. He understood what causes what. He went through a discipline of so many semesters divided into so many subjects. He acquired and absorbed content. He understood the context of each content. That's very important. Otherwise, it's only guzzling. He learned problem solving. Very important. He went through examinations, which are a replica of life, crisis management. And he acquired a lot of friends of that high IQ. The sum total is that while studying mechanical engineering, he went through a lot of experiences which you would not get elsewhere. And he acquired a lot of knowledge. And this knowledge became so internalized within him, that he did not require to repeat classes from mechanical engineering, statics, or whatever. He didn't needed to go on repeating it. What he needed now was additional skills of managing people, managing production, managing finance that fell in seamlessly. This is the career of one of the topmost corporate honchos I've known in my life, who said that he touched his mechanical engineering only when he opened his car's bonnet. In other words, of course, he was joking. He must have gone through machines. But the point is, hard skills become an integral part of our lives. There are many memories we keep recalling without meaning to. But soft skills help us advance further in life. Soft skills are required for survival, for arrival. More than survival, you have to arrive somewhere. You may be, as I said, you may be knowing a lot of things of a lot of subjects here and there, but you need to make it clear. I said that in the beginning, you need to make it clear to prospective employers, to friends, to competitors, to helpers, that this is what I can contribute to society. So, communication. I said arrival. You have to arrive somewhere, and you cannot arrive by throwing a degree at them. You can arrive by communicating the knowledge that you acquired from the degree or whatever to them. So communication, arrival, survival. If your skills have not been honed in college or university, you may get in, but you may find survival to be very difficult. I have seen so many people drop out and so many people, it's not funny. So survival again is something that you learn practically when you leave the campus. Within the campus, you are leading a charmed life, charmed artificial life. A life where things are regulated and you are told what to do. But the moment you leave the campus, you are alone. And that is why you require now skills, what I call out-campus skills, off-campus skills in the larger campus of life. And then, as I said, you need to utilize those skills. There is no point in understanding the logic of a mechanical instrument. There is no point in learning the logic behind the functioning of anything on earth, well, even geography, if you are not able to apply the principles ever so subtly in the next thing that you are going to do. So it is basically a campus or a course versus the wider campus of life. The first thing we need to remember is that we need that expression and communication matter the most. Expression and communication have to be imbibed. Very few people are born with the skills of communicating. Let me assure you, when you look at a talkative little girl, you think, oh, she's so clever. As she grows up, as she this thing, she may remain talkative. Or he may remain talkative. But that amount of extra talk that he or she indulges in is often laughed at by friends. Laughed at by friends. Talking is not communicating. Babbling is not communicating. Storytelling is not communicating. Communicating is revealing to others what you want to reveal in a highly skillful manner. Overkill does not help. Overkill does not help. Now, I have this thing about people from our state. Every state has its own accent, its own problems with language. Every two languages, any two languages, anywhere in the world, face problems. Face problems. Because I have worked a bit in this area, so I know languages are basically attempts to grasp sounds, to express meanings, to fall into a regimentation of grammar and syntax, and to basically get across cultural values. Okay. Now, that's very complex, and I'm almost sounding like an academic, which I never wanted to, because that makes life more complex. Let me put it this way. Communication could happen in whichever language you want to and whichever language the profession desires. You could be good in Bengali and not have a complex about it. You could be good in Hindi and don't need to worry so much about it. There is scope for people who know Hindi. You could be conversant in English. Now, of the three, I find the last to be a little more important when the modern world is concerned. For many reasons of history and capitalism and Western domination or whatever be it, the fact remains English is the world's language of communication. It is in a way the lingua franca. So when I say this with a little bit of experience. You know, in 1980s end, maybe 1988 or 89, when I went to represent India in both Paris and Germany, that is, we went to Bonn. Remember, Berlin was then Eastern Germany. So we went to Bonn. At both places, I was given an interpreter and I spoke in English, and he or she, mainly she, they spoke in either German or French. Now, here's the interesting part of the story. Whenever I said something and she would go on explaining, and French is a beautiful language, once in a while, the secretary on the other side, the director on the other side, or the vice minister on the other side would correct and say, no. Correct and say the exact words. So in both Bonn and Paris, I asked them one question. Excellency, thank you for everything, but your grasp of English is superb. Since the official part of the communication is over, he said, yes, of course. I said, but then why didn't you speak in English? He said, that's not my national language. My nation has a language too, and we have a policy too. I said, fine, thank you. In other words, he said, you speak to me as the secretary in Germany in German. And if you don't know German, you speak in English, it will be communicated in German. That is 1989. In 2005 or 7, when I went to the same places, they were speaking in fluent English. They had not become anti-nationalists. They had become practical. They realized that this sort of theoretical resistance to a foreign language will not do us good. So the Germans who knew English would now not take interpreters. So interpreters lost their jobs and they spoke straight in English with or without an accent. That doesn't matter. So coming back to the utility of English, I would expect you to communicate to students the fact that my language has certain intrinsic structural problems which weaken our delivery. And there are a few ones which I would like to point out even today. For some reason, our alphabets don't convey the English alphabet V. V does not come to us easily. It is victory. It is Victoria, which is BH. I'm sorry, it's BH. V is Vix. It is not Vix. When I say a thing like this, it's a very small thing, but it matters. The moment a person speaks V as BH, there is a sense of something lacking. I can mention the other words as well. It's the same as F. F, it is a flower. It is father. It is not father. It is not flower. There's a difference between P and PH and F. Similar problem with J and Z. It is not Julfikar. We are not going to the Jew. The word is zoo. So we need to stress on it. We have same problems with W. I hear excellent speakers who have acquired intonation and can convey so well, but when it comes to a few words, they give up. W. W was used to exist in the Bengali language, and let me tell you, I know about it. It was there in Holland's grammar. It was taken away by Pandit Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar. We used to have it ba with a pet kata. That was W. Ya. We had ya, and after that the word W. W was taken away for certain reasons, and therefore we remained crippled in the absence of W. Now you can say, what does a stupid, simple alphabet mean? I said, this means a lot. It is not Ori, it is worry. And at the end of a long speech, when a person keeps telling that I was worried, he has lowered his own speech. Why I'm mentioning these 4 or 5 things is to please take note of it and please try to remove these difficulties. To be born in this state and to have studied in this state's language is really an advantage in terms of the opening balance of knowledge that you acquire. I'm saying this most impartially. I know what the education standards are there in other states, what is the state of literacy, and I'm proud that I belong to this state because we were taught things much earlier. A lot more pressure was put on to us to learn a lot of things, and I'm glad that we learned it all. But then some of these infirmities that crept into my delivery, when I mention certain terms, need to be pressed out, ironed out. And it is so easy. Once you are conscious of 1, 2, 3, 4 terms, 5 words, and one more I must remember. I must mention. This is S. We have 3 shas, 3 S. The English has 2, and both appear as S or SH. And it's always, I find that it is always the opposite that is conveyed. When a Bengali is saying sugar, he actually means sugar. When he's saying shari, he is actually meaning the all India word sari. So we can go on like this, but there are just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 areas where if you touch up and do some patchwork on it, do some improvement on it, the language with which we speak, the language in which we can express ourselves can surely improve. And this improvement indicates effort. That means we have taken effort. The best way to go ahead on these issues, and this, remember, having studied everything, it does not matter if your conveyance is poor, substandard, or not acceptable. In this market, in this transaction, it is the hearer, the listener, who decides. You don't decide. You don't decide. If you want to see this, you can go and see old films, Pratibdwandi, Interview, and others, to understand that it is the interview board that decides everywhere. So listen. I am emphasizing more on diction of expression, on accent, rather than on language. This is a foreign language. We will make a couple of mistakes. People don't bother so much about it. It is the accent in which we come that people bother more. Listen. Where do you listen? Nobody in my house speaks English. Nobody in my house spoke English either. So where do you listen? We have to listen to the radio. You don't have to listen to radio. You can always listen to your mobile, your smartphone. You can go on putting programs and make it a point to listen to English programs in proper English. The English spoken by DJs and RJs and others will destroy whatever else you have learned with their hyper accents and good evening, my friend. That's not the way people speak. So just go through conversations. It takes you 5 minutes. It takes you 2 minutes. And once you've heard the sentence, learn to repeat it. That's all. You are so blessed. We had one radio and we had to fight with them for the timing of the radio so that I could listen into a good speaker of the English language on that radio. Fight with 5 members, 6 members. You have your own stats. So listening, noting in Bangla, noting in Hindi, that এটা এরম ভাবে বলে. Noting words. Take down words when you are reading and you don't understand them. Write them down. Believe me, I look up the dictionary within the mobile or the hard copy in the book every day. Every day. For English, for Bangla, for Hindi, for Urdu, whatever language I come with. I have to look up because soft skill is not an acquired wisdom. It is a continuous process. It is a continuous, every day. Believe me, I do it every day. You don't have to be mad like me. You do it once a week, do it twice a week, but you'll get richer. You'll get richer. So looking up words and meanings and then writing them down, you say, I write, I forget. I'll say, you are just normal. If you forget, you're normal. Those who can remember everything, they're abnormal. So forget, learn, forget, learn again, remember again, and we do it. We do it. I make so many awful mistakes in my spelling even now. Even now. It doesn't matter. I was in a hurry, I didn't remember. So words and meanings. And as I said, observe. Then the language is built on phrases, idioms and phrases. Let's try. It's so easily available on the internet. The language is built on syntax. Yeah. You don't say, I mean, when we think that and translate it into English, the syntax goes wrong. Coming from that house, I decided. You don't speak that way. Syntax is different. We need to just reverse the syntax. You learn it all. The whole idea is I'm trying to convey to your students, to the students, that with a little bit of extra effort at your own time, you can coach yourself, because the academic part of your life may be over or may have been over or may have ended. Your real life's academic is you. Everything is self-taught. Everything is self-taught. And I can say that on affidavit at Judges Court, Alipur. I can go and take an affidavit and say that everything is self-taught. What my school taught me, what my college taught me, what my parents taught me, what my friends taught me were opening balances. When you open an accounts book, that's the opening balance. The rest of it, good, bad, I had to acquire, you have to acquire. Conversation. Try striking up conversation. Try striking up conversation. If you talk in English with a friend, others may find it a little odd. Forget it. Forget it. Their feeling odd doesn't matter. It's your life. So in a way, you have to go on conversing, practicing. And remember, good English doesn't alone do the trick. You see, in 20, 30 years, I left Bengal after a problem with my chief minister and I walked out in one day. My famous saying, actually pore beriye gechi. In about 20 or 15 years ago, akka pore beriye gechi. And that was in 2005. When I came back in 2016, I found a lot of things had changed. When I left, the young girls were still wearing saris and salwar. When I came back, I found everybody was wearing a dress, everybody is wearing a skirt, everybody is wearing suits, things like that. Excellent. Why are you wearing it? You want to make an impression that I am advanced, that I am adept in the Western world, in the universal world, I am more globalized. Fine, absolutely fine with me. Prove it. Open your mouth. Open your mouth and it'll all be proved. So, for those who have gone that extra mile to be globalized, and I don't take globalization to be a sin, remember, globalization in dress has to be matched with globalization in words, terms, and knowledge. So when I come to the next and perhaps the last or second last part of my talk, I would say knowledge acquisition is the easiest. I only wish I was born now. I would not have to go through those struggles, through those so many books to acquire so much GK. We used to call it GK in our time, general knowledge. To know everything, one had to struggle through so many books because there was no live example. What is the capital of Austria? Vienna. So you memorize it that way, the hard way. Now you have so much of live content coming in all the time, so much of interesting, colorful content that you can't forget. You can't forget. Unless there's something completely wrong in your mind, you can't forget. So reading, Googling, I think Professor Google deserves the Nobel Prize. Any day Professor Google deserves the Nobel Prize. He makes a lot of mistakes. So does everyone. Okay. But you open Google, go for the search engine, go and select an item. He's only leading you to the path. It is up to your intelligence to realize that this part that he's giving doesn't sound too good to me. Reject it. Go down, scroll down. Don't take the first five. First five are there by algorithm. Go down, and you'll find the serious paper by ResearchGate. You'll find the serious paper by academia.edu. Good websites. And download that serious paper. 9 pages. Ore Baba. 9 pages you have to read. Just bookmark it, take it, earmark it, and read it later. When do you read it? When you're waiting outside the doctor's chamber and instead of looking at your watch all the time, the doctor is a person who's meant to keep you waiting. He keeps me waiting all the time. Don't worry. A bureaucrat will keep you waiting. When you go to see a babu, he takes his own time. So there are two ways of dealing with him. One is to get angry with him. Your blood pressure goes up. The other is to use your time so fruitfully that when he calls you, you feel he's interrupting your reading. That's a good way of looking at life. And that is one thing that I advise to people, that when you have to wait, there's no point in blowing your blood pressure. That is the time, if you have the bandwidth, if you don't, carry a small Wi-Fi, pocket Wi-Fi, it's not costly at all nowadays, and read up, hear up, put your earphones here, listen, don't disturb others, and you have acquired, you have not spoiled that time. No, I spoiled that time. So I keep repeating. And then once we do this acquisition of knowledge, we'll soon learn how to link. I could never remember which year Akbar invaded Bengal. I could hear my neighbor's son reading, saying, 1576 সালে 1576 সালে সম্রাট আকবর, because he was just bugging. If I asked him after that, he would not remember. And in my case, I had to remember. 1576, he couldn't remember. So I just tagged it with my relations address in Shambajar, 15 by 75, and said one way above that. 1576. Yes, I have never forgotten it. So learn to link things to things, and you will find that your knowledge base increases and you are in a position to recall. In this entire process, what I would say is enjoyment. Enjoyment is the source of it. Your private enjoyment matters the most. To me, my private enjoyment of having that ice cream when my wife and son are not looking is the finest of moment. Otherwise, they'll bring in health issues, gala kharap hobe. So much thoughts. How does one So your private enjoyment comes in when you look at your own mobile or handphone or your own little book or booklet and enjoy. One can learn from everything. I think I've learned more from Batul the Great than from many of my college classes. It's a question of what you want to remember. What you want to remember. Of course, most of my teachers had a very poor opinion of me, but they are entitled to their opinion. Their opinion. Anyway, so the last part that I would like to emphasize on is the critical element. Critical or the crisis-facing element is something that one has to imbibe. A crisis is not what one can escape. A crisis, the first reaction is, how do I get into this mess? How do I get out of this mess? Relax, relax. The first major crisis that I faced was, forget it, but the interesting part is when my class teacher in class 5 or 6 saw me crying. He said, what's happened? Has the world ended? I said, no, for me it's about to end. He said, really? Okay, I'll come back to you after half an hour to see if the world has ended. So the world does not end just because something has happened. Some tickets are not there, some confirmation is not made, something is broken. The world doesn't. So handling a crisis is what makes a person a person. Given a set of conditions, everything will move on its own time. It's easy. As I say, any fool can do it. But when something devastating happens without your permission, without your knowledge, and you are there to pick it up, that is, fate is knocking at your door. Fate is knocking at your door. I would say today morning's best news or most critical news and the worst news that I've read is about a young girl of 21 called Diksha something, who has been arrested by the police for supporting Greta, the environmentalist. And this girl, who's been picked up at 21, I'm not sure whether she knows the consequences of what she has done and what is this thing, was immediately propelled to the stage of a hero. Whatever she had been wanting to do, I can assure you, having worked for state power, the stupidity of state power knows no limits. Knows no limits. State power, the organ of state power behaves like that. It is moronic by nature, by genetically moronic, and I had a very tough time surviving 40 years there. Having said that, let me tell you, they made a rather moronic mistake by arresting a young girl of 21. She will soon become a leading voice, and if she can. But the question is, will she be able to go through the crisis? I saw that young girl. I saw only her face behind the mask almost every day, Riya Chakravarti. I find her admirable. Her personal life is of no consequence to me. That a person in crisis did not break down. If this girl breaks down tomorrow, she's the end of the story. That's the end of the story. But if she just keeps up decently, boldly, and say that I do believe in that agitation, and I've given this so-called toolkit, which means just standard operating points, do what you feel like under the law. I think this is fate knocking. I'm not giving an extra example. I'm not asking you to jump into farmers' agitation or that agitation. All I'm saying is an extreme example of a person being arrested and picked up and sent to jail. So now is the time when a crisis has knocked and you need to be in charge of your own crisis management. A crisis management teaches a person much of life. Much of life. And there is no hard skill in it, no soft skill in it. If at all it has to be classified into any skill, I would say it's a soft skill. How to acquire the coolness and the critical thinking to tackle a crisis. Finally, a critical thing is not something that they can teach you in college or university that you can memorize as 9.123456789, get ecstatic because you have remembered 8 of the 9 points, ninth the Monelona. It doesn't go on that way. Life is not like that. So whatever it is instantaneous thinking at that point of time. There are many examples that we can go into. I'll end by mentioning one small anecdote. I was preparing for my IAS exam at 22, just touched 22, and people were very annoyed with me, saying, why didn't you wait for longer? Why didn't you study much more, etc., etc.? And you're wasting a chance. Teen chance pabi, ekta chance galo. All sorts of advice. So, and being a little flippant, I never memorized much. Whatever inspired and got in my mind remained. Whatever didn't went through. But one had to get through life. Now, there was this political science question which I remember. It's a standard question. It's there even now. You go to this thing. Why does the English monarchy survive for so long? And the English monarchy has been a fascinating subject even before Princess Diana came, and even before this other girl, what's her name? This American girl came. So there they asked this question, and all around me I could see my college university seniors and a couple of my teachers and some of the ladies doing this and this. I mean, they were all trying to recall. And I remembered just about 4 or 5 points. I can't remember 21 points. Somehow God has not given me that power. So I decided that I'll start by saying this. It was during the First World War, the war to end all wars, the war that ended all empires, that an American reporter asked Prince Faisal of Arabia, Your Majesty, do you think that there'll be no more kings left on earth? One para over, second para over. Third para was, Prince Faisal, later to become King Faisal of Saudi Arabia, scratched his beard, looked intently, and replied, yes, I fear that after this war is over, there may be no more kings left on earth, except 5. He stopped, took a breath, and said, the 5 are the kings of diamonds, hearts, clubs, spade, and England. Stop. Why only England? Now, by that time, I'd come to half my page. You see, with a starter like that came out of your mind at that point of a story that I had heard somewhere, one could sail through that exam even with less than half the points that some Lord Acton or some Lord Weston or somebody had said and memorized. You see that the examiner is bored of going through similar sounding papers and all that, and you have already drawn your attention in the first page. That you know you are in command of your bearings. So one has to come up with something very interesting to stand out. To stand out, one has to come up with something interesting all the time. I remember the story of a boy who rushed into the IAS examination interview and was panting. So when he came, may I come in, sir? And he got in, he was late. It happens. So while he was panting, the UPSC board said, yes, please sit down. The moment he sat, somebody asked, why are you panting? He said, sir, I climbed up the stairs, and instantly another person asked him, how many stairs were there? How many stairs were there? The boy looked back and said, 22, sir. And 21 if you take the landing. He got the job. Now, look at the sequence. What could this fellow reply? Look at the choices he had. He could reply, sir, I did not count the stairs. What a truthful statement. Go and join the Ramakrishna Mission. Please, we don't need you in the IAS. Sir, can I go back and count the stairs? I think we need to send you to the military. Can I go back and count the stairs? Third is a wide shot. 42. Right? You have climbed up one floor. 42 is an answer that should not come to you. Maybe you can join Ali Lambari or somebody else and speculate. So he sat down and he had not counted. He didn't do things. He sat down. He had counted just one. He had climbed up one floor. One said this way, the next said that way. Average of 9 or 10, he looked coolly and said 22. Of course, I've counted the landing. The coolness with which he bluffed his way through is what was required. Because in real life, he would often be standing in front of mobs who would be wanting to set fire to buildings. And he would have to say, please go back, I'll take care. I'll take care. That confidence is required. I'm not talking only of my silly service where I've gone through and spent 4 decades. I'm talking about the rest of life. At every point of life, you come back with a situation where your quick thinking matters. And quick thinking can come only when you are prepared to open up your mind. Open up your mind. Not take given responses. I have found people who are orthodox, people who are conservative, to be the ones who suffer the most. I have found people who have opened up, people who are less bothered about consequences, people who are quick on their feet have got on. And it really doesn't matter where you are and what you want. What you have learned is your opening balance. The soft skills you are learning, or your boys and girls will learn, is a current account. At the end of it comes crisis. If you can get over it, that page of your account book is over with a big, profitable end of it. So that is, I believe, at the end of life, I keep saying, at the end of all this, just life, keep saying, life is a series of mistakes that we have to get out of, and a series of blunders somebody has caused that we have to tackle. So at the end of it, this is it. What you do beyond your academics, after your academics, matters more, because the rest of life lies beyond the campus. This is all that I have to say. I have not taken into any serious discussion, and I hope somebody will gain a little bit out of it. Namaskar.
Thank you so much, sir. It was such a wonderful lecture, and all the while that you were speaking, I just want to share a little thing with all the participants. When for the first time I was calling him, I was so nervous inside. I was so nervous because I was not sure whether he will be saying yes, or I was actually keeping my fingers crossed. And you see, we had 2 comprehensive lectures on leadership qualities, and I could actually see the leader in front of the kind of vision our speakers were saying. actually this person is, he had that kind of vision, that why he could translate it into the kind of thing that we have done. Sir, we are actually mesmerized. We are so thankful to you.
Dr. Chattopadhyay.
Yes.
I'm Professor Saha.
Yes, sir.
Now that is our more or less we are going to conclude our session. So yes, I must say our respected Dr. Jwahar Sircar, such a way he has tried to a level, is level based to deliver his valedictory address is needless to mention. We must say only incredible deliberation, and I think our participants will agree. They must understand his spirit with regard to the soft skill related issues, how it can be implemented based on his vast experience. So therefore, once again, we must communicate here. We are grateful, to be, in this August gathering, with our Dr. Jwahar Sircar. And if it's a concluding session, as I told you, that is our HRDC part. That is Dr. Satpathy already communicated something. But in addition to that, Deputy Director Dr. Amrita Sen is there. So I'd like to speak to Dr. Amrita Sen. Could you unmute and if you kindly speak on this issue regarding our course that you have provided this opportunity to this department for the benefit, for the sake of our teachers community or participant. So if you just speak on this issue with a few words, so we'll be grateful to you.
Right, of course. Thank you so much, Professor Saha. My sincere thanks to you and to Professor Satpathy, and of course to Professor Chattopadhyay for inviting me here today. It was absolutely fascinating to listen to Dr. Sircar. And I must say, as someone whose own discipline happens to be English literature, I'm a Shakespearean by training, everything that you said made so much amazing sense, especially about language and the complexities of language. And might I say, sir, I always look forward to your anecdotes, and they sort of really provide us with the exemplum, on the basis of which we can learn so many things and aspire to do and follow on your footsteps. And so thank you so much for inspiring us today.
Thank you, Dr. Sen, and may I request Dr. Purba Chattopadhyay, if your concluding ceremony will be going to be over. So before that, before leaving here, if you make an arrangement for formal vote of thanks.
Sure. So thank you so much, Sir Jwahar Sircar, Dr. Jwahar Sircar, for being with us, for making the valedictory session such a success. You actually more than we expected. Your lecture was more than it. You touched all the points. Those are necessary points in your lecture. Keep on inspiring, sir. We wish you all the best and best of your health, and keep encouraging us, keep be with us, and keep us in touch, be in touch with us. Thank you so much, sir. So as a formal setting, yes, sir. So as a formal thing, it is my duty to give the vote of thanks. So I would first like to thank our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Madam, for permitting us to conduct this course, the Pro Vice Chancellor, Sir, our IQAC Director. Despite his superbly busy schedule, he made himself available. Thank you so much, sir. And our director of the UGC HRDC Center, and as well as Amrita Madam, Deputy Director, who have been so nice with us, continuously guiding us and providing all the kinds of necessary information, being with us. So thank you all so much. Our dear colleagues who have been there then our head of the department, and more than so, our participants who have been the real motivation for bringing in, roping in diverse kind of speakers. I am thankful to all of them, right from Professor Benjamin, the keynote address, right from USA, he had delivered the keynote address, to Dr. Sircar, our valedictory session. Thank you all so much for making this function such a success. And dear all, if you have any thing that you want to communicate to us, we are always there. The WhatsApp group will be valid. So our non-teaching staff and all the technical staff, whose help, for whose support this kind of a program was such a success. So thank you all so much. Thank you all so much.
Okay, thank you so much. So please allow me to leave the meeting for the time being. Okay, thank you very much.
Sure, sir.
Thank you, everyone, and my regards to Dr. Jwahar Sircar. Thank you very much.
So our valedictory session is over. I hope that you all have enjoyed thoroughly. And one thing I just wanted to share was let me present my screen. Is the picture visible?
Yes, it's visible.
So special thanks to our participants, especially Dr. Tripathi, who painstakingly compiled this beautiful picture of all of us. So do visit our department, especially for the outstation candidates. If you ever come to happen to come to Kolkata, do visit our department. I'm sure you will like it. And for all the others who have not been to our department, always welcome. On the part of the participants, if you want to share anything, you are always welcome. Any kind of thing you want to share, whatever shortcomings, we are extremely sorry for it. You have been very cooperative. Thank you all so much. Anything you want to share, you can.
Ma'am, I have one clarification, please.
Sure,
Sorry.
Sure.
Ma'am, Dr. Satpathy said about something about the registration form and getting it signed by the head of the institution. So which registration form? I didn't understand. Where will we get the registration form?
I think registration form, whatever you have filled up, it should be forwarded by the authority. If you are from a college, then it has to be forwarded by the principal, as sir was saying. And if you are from the university, it will be through the head of the department. And if you are a research scholar, then again it should be through the head of the department.
I couldn't download my registration form because every time I clicked on download form, nothing came. So because I got an email saying that you registered and click to download the form. So every time I clicked on that download button, nothing was coming. So how will I get the form that I had filled up?
Okay. There are many participants here who have not yet got the form. We will get back to you after this session gets over. So maybe then we'll directly talk with our director, sir, and whatever he guides us, we will let you know.
And once we do manage to download the form and we get it signed by the HUI, then we will come and physically submit it to you at your department, or we will scan it and send it to you through email.
I suppose if you scan it and send it, then also it's okay. The only thing is the competent authority has to forward it.
Okay. Yeah. So, ma'am, then you will let us know how we can.
Yes. We will keep in touch.
Ma'am, actually, form will be available in the university website.
Form we have already filled up. That is the problem. I have already filled up. That's why I got enrolled in the course. But when I went to download the filled up form,
Yes.
that I couldn't download that form. Every time I clicked on in the email, they said download form, click here. So when you click there, nothing comes. So I even sent an email to HRDC, but I did not get any reply.
I also had the same problem initially, but then what I did was I tried to download it in my laptop, and then it got downloaded. But through my mobile, it was not being downloaded. So I don't know whether you have tried it through laptop or not. Try it once.
I have tried it through laptop, but I will try it again. I'll go back to that email today itself. I will try it again. Otherwise, I'll let you know in the group.
Okay, and one thing is that because of the kind of thing, somebody has asked like when will we get the certificate. We will not be dissolving the WhatsApp group just now. Let it remain, so that after the certificates only we can dissolve it, or else any communication we can do it through the WhatsApp group. It would be always better, because we are not in a position to give the certificates, because the academic staff college is there and sir will be there. He will be guiding us. So whatever the announcements are, whatever the news are, we will get back to you through the WhatsApp. So anybody, anything else you wanted to say? What is the feedback in general about the course?
Ma'am, I learned.
Good evening, madam.
Yes.
I am Dr. Prithviraj Karok speaking.
Yes.
The course was very relevant for us, and the thing is that right now I have submitted the feedback form.
Okay. Thank you.
I would like to know 3 things regarding that. Director sir told us report we have to submit within 1 to 2 days, sir told, but it will be given the time, and how shall we send the report? Number 1. Number 2, the participant application form, that one has to be signed by principal sir, then we have to submit it. So please, can you provide the mail ID or how we can submit it? Because I stay from Calcutta far away. I stay Bankura. Okay. And third thing is a DD of demand draft of ₹1,000. These 3 things, how shall we submit?
The report part, I can say that it is not for all the participants. We have to submit a report on the entire thing, 2-page report. So you don't have to worry about that. But as far as the fees and the mode of payment, amount of fees, and how you will get the certificate, so these things will be informed to you after we go to sir, and directly whatever he decides and whatever he will tell, we will communicate to you.
Okay. And madam, I have submitted just now feedback form.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Ma'am, when we will get the certificate?
We actually don't know when you will get the certificate, because as long as any news is there, we will get back to it in the WhatsApp group. Because we have to talk with our Amrita madam, I suppose was here. I don't know whether she is now here or not. So we have to talk with the academic staff college, or other UGC HRDC center, and then we will get back to you. Whatever news we have, we will share it with you.
Till then, madam, this WhatsApp group will remain active, no?
Yes, yes. Till then, the WhatsApp group will remain active.
Okay, madam. Thank you, madam.
Okay. Anybody else want to say anything about the course?
Ma'am, the course was very relevant, and we learned a lot from the course. It was wonderful to be a part of Calcutta University once again. Thank you, both of you, means to you as well as to Pubali madam.
Yes, yes, of course. So thank you.
I'm from Dr. Banerjee. I can click on my video because I have to go to college today. For tomorrow is the Saraswati Puja, and I had to go to college, so I'm in midst of a road, so I can just click on my video. It was lovely to do a STC from Calcutta University. It was my first time, my first experience from all the courses where I met Purvadi also. were from Jadavpur. It was nice, it was nice to go through the lectures. It was really illuminating and enlightening for me as a participant. I learned a lot. I hope I can apply them in my real life also. And
Yes.
hope I visit the department soon and meet you, Purvadi, because I mean, it was a long time we didn't meet. Last time it was in the RC, hope so. And it was a nice, thank you so much. It was very nice.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is Afsana from University of Kashmir. Well, the workshop on skill development, it was, I must say, it was extremely useful and helpful. It was indeed enriching. It helped us to understand what soft skills are and why they are important. It helped us to understand that soft skills, they influence how well we can work and interact with others. And it also helped us, it facilitated rather, helped us to understand that how it can help in building and enhancing professional relationships, professional collaborations. In fact, I must say that there was also a session, a beautiful concept that was there in an open session by Professor Nilanjana, where she discussed about mental beauty, emotional maturity, emotional investments. I must say that it was indeed a well conceived, well planned, and well packaged conference. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Purvadi, you are muted. You are muted, Purvadi.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Afsana. If you happen to sometime you happen to come to Kolkata, do visit our department. Thank you for your wonderful words. So I suppose anybody else wants to say anything? So our week-long journey, it comes to an end. From the core of my heart, I thank all my participants, because it was because like it was the participants for whom we actually entered this arena, and in the process sincerely we have attended all the lectures, and we have actually learned a lot too.
না না হচ্ছে না না পেট কামড়ে কামড়ে উঠে বারবার হচ্ছে
So thank you all. So we will, if you have any problem, you can feel free to contact either me or Pubalidi. We will whatever we know, we will share with you. And apart from it, if we come to know of any further information or anything else, we will just communicate with you. Don't worry about that. So let us break. Tomorrow is Saraswati Puja here in West Bengal. We enjoy it a lot. So thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Bye.
Chalo, bye.